Have you ever wondered why stories of Zeus, Athena, and Hercules still echo through our world today? Why the gods of Mount Olympus, born thousands of years ago in the minds of ancient storytellers, still shape the movies we watch, the books we read, and even the way we understand heroism, love, and tragedy. Wherever you are right now, maybe it's morning in New York, afternoon in Texas, or late at night in California, take a moment and ask yourself, what time is it where you are, and how incredible is it that the myths of a civilization long gone are still alive in your world? If you're fascinated by history, culture, and the enduring power of stories, then welcome. Today, we dive deep into the legacy of Greek mythology, from ancient myths to modern culture. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what time is it right now? Are you sipping coffee, winding down after work, or staying up late to explore the ancient world? I want to hear from you. Now let's embark on this journey together. The immortality of myths. Greek mythology was never just a set of entertaining tales. It was a way for the Greeks to explain the universe, to wrestle with the chaos of nature, to explore the depths of human emotions, and to pass down values of courage, loyalty, and wisdom. And yet, these myths did not remain locked in the ancient past. Over thousands of years, they transformed, adapted, and spread across continents, reshaping cultures far beyond Greece. Even as the ancient temples crumbled, the myths endured. They slipped into Roman traditions, seeped into Renaissance art, inspired Enlightenment thinkers, fueled romantic poets, and even today, power Hollywood blockbusters and best-selling novels. This is the true legacy of Greek mythology. Immortality not of flesh, but of story. The gods may no longer be worshipped with sacrifice and prayer, but in the modern world, they live again, in our language, our imagination, our art, and our dreams. From Olympus to Rome, the first chapter of this legacy begins with Rome. The Romans admired Greek culture deeply, often borrowing and reshaping it to suit their own empire. The Greek gods received Roman names. Zeus became Jupiter, Hera became Juno, Ares became Mars, Aphrodite became Venus. The myths themselves remained largely intact, but the Romans infused them with their own values, discipline, duty, and the glory of empire. This Roman adaptation ensured that Greek myths survived the collapse of Greece's city-states. Rome spread these stories across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, engraving them into the cultural memory of entire civilizations. And when Rome itself fell, the myths did not vanish. Instead, they slept, waiting for a new dawn. The Renaissance awakening. That dawn came with the Renaissance. In the 14th and 15th centuries, as Europe rediscovered the ancient texts of Greece and Rome, artists and thinkers turned to mythology for inspiration. To them, the gods represented beauty, power, and timeless human struggles. Painters like Botticelli breathed life into Venus, rising gracefully from the sea in The Birth of Venus. Sculptors like Michelangelo captured the strength of heroes and the perfection of divine forms. Writers rediscovered Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, finding in them not just war and adventure, but profound truths about fate and the human spirit. The Renaissance was a rebirth, not only of art, but of myth. By reviving these stories, the artists of the Renaissance ensured that Greek mythology would never fade into obscurity. The language of myth, even today, the English language, and especially American English, is filled with echoes of Greek mythology. We speak of a Herculean task when something seems impossible, a Trojan horse when deception hides inside a gift, or a Pandora's box when curiosity unleashes chaos. Companies brand themselves with mythological names. Nike, the goddess of victory, inspires athletes around the world. Amazon echoes the legendary race of warrior women. Apollo was chosen by NASA to represent humanity's quest for the stars. Through language and branding, Greek mythology is not just remembered, but woven into the fabric of everyday life. The power of literature. From Shakespeare to modern fantasy, literature has never stopped drawing from Greek mythology. Shakespeare filled his plays with mythological references, weaving gods and heroes into his dramas. John Milton, in Paradise Lost, compared Satan to the Titans who challenged Zeus. The Romantic poets, Byron, Keats, Shelley, found inspiration in the tragic beauty of Greek myths, using them to explore love, death, and destiny. In America, Nathaniel Hawthorne retold Greek myths for children in a wonder book for girls and boys. Edith Hamilton, in the 20th century, wrote Mythology, timeless tales of gods and heroes, a book still beloved by students today. And in the 21st century, Rick Riordan brought the gods to life for millions of young readers in the Percy Jackson series. Reimagining Olympus atop the Empire State Building in New York. These modern stories prove that Greek mythology is not just ancient history. It is alive, evolving with every generation. The silver screen gods, Hollywood too, has been captivated by Olympus. From the 1963 classic Jason and the Argonauts, with its groundbreaking stop-motion skeletons, to Disney's Hercules, which turned myth into animated magic, to epic modern films like Clash of the Titans and Immortals, Greek mythology continues to inspire filmmakers. The appeal is clear. Gods, monsters, and heroes offer drama on a cosmic scale. These stories blend action, romance, betrayal, and redemption in ways that never grow old. Audiences across the world, whether in New York, Los Angeles, or beyond, are still hungry for tales born on the slopes of Mount Olympus. Even Marvel's cinematic universe has tapped into these myths, introducing characters like Hercules into their pantheon of superheroes. The old gods now share the screen with modern ones. Psychology and the human mind. But Greek mythology is not only entertainment, it is also a mirror of the human mind. In the early 20th century, psychologist Carl Jung saw myths as expressions of archetypes, timeless patterns within the human psyche. Sigmund Freud interpreted the story of Oedipus as a reflection of hidden desires and conflicts within the family. Through psychology, Greek myths became more than stories. They became tools to understand who we are, why we dream, and what it means to be human. In this way, the gods of Olympus live on inside us, as symbols of our fears, our passions, and our eternal search for meaning. Part 2. The myths in politics and identity. Greek mythology has also been used as a tool for politics, nationalism, and identity. During the American Revolution, the Founding Fathers often compared their struggle to that of the ancient Greeks, fighting for freedom against tyranny. The image of democracy itself traces its lineage back to Athens, where myths of wise Athena guided the city. American institutions carry these echoes. The U.S. Capitol dome is adorned with classical imagery, while statues of gods and heroes stand in Washington, D.C. to remind citizens of the values of wisdom, justice, and strength. To the New Republic, Greek mythology represented not just the past, but the foundation for a bold, free future. Even today, politicians and leaders invoke mythological metaphors. They speak of crossing the Rubicon, of Achilles' heel, or of opening Pandora's box, embedding ancient lessons into modern challenges. Art beyond the Renaissance. After the Renaissance, mythology continued to inspire painters, sculptors, and musicians. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the neoclassical movement revived Greek themes once more. Artists like Jacques-Louis David painted heroes and poses, echoing the statues of ancient Greece, blending myth with ideals of patriotism and virtue. Composers, too, turned to mythology. Gustav Gluck's opera Orfeo and Eurydice retold the tragic story of Orpheus descending into the underworld for love. Richard Strauss's Elektra captured the dark emotions of vengeance and fate. These works revealed that myth could live not only on canvas and paper, but in the harmonies of music and the rhythms of opera. Greek myths are not frozen images. They are living expressions, endlessly reshaped by every generation of artists who seek truth in the tales of the gods. The myths of science and space. In the modern world, science, humanity's great quest for knowledge, has often turned to mythology for inspiration. The Apollo missions to the moon took their name from the god of light and knowledge. The Hubble Space Telescope has photographed galaxies named after mythological figures: Andromeda, Pegasus, Perseus. Astronomers christen planets and moons after gods and heroes. Jupiter's moons carry the names of Zeus's lovers. Saturn's moons are named for titans. Beyond our solar system, constellations remind us of Orion the hunter, Cassiopeia the queen, and Hercules the champion. Even as we reach into the cosmos, we carry the myths of Greece with us. Humanity's journey to the stars is guided by names first whispered around ancient fires. Greek mythology in psychology and therapy. In addition to Jung and Freud, modern therapy often uses myth as a way to help people understand themselves. Therapists encourage patients to see their struggles as part of a mythic journey, a hero's quest through darkness toward transformation. The idea that each of us is both the hero and the storyteller of our lives echoes directly from Greek tradition. Like Odysseus facing trials on his voyage home, each person faces monsters, temptations, and storms of fate. By retelling these myths, psychologists remind us that even in suffering, there is meaning, and even in failure, there is hope. The myths live not only in books and movies, but in the healing of the human heart. Pop culture. From comics to games, in the United States, popular culture has embraced Greek mythology with enthusiasm. Comic books reimagine gods as superheroes, warriors, and villains. Wonder Woman, one of DC's most iconic heroes, draws directly from the Amazons of Greek myth. Video games like God of War immerse players in battles with Zeus, Hades, and the Titans, letting audiences live the myths interactively. Other games, like Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, place players directly in ancient Greece, surrounded by temples, myths, and legends. Even anime and modern cartoons frequently borrow from Greek mythology, blending it with new worlds and characters. From children's shows to blockbuster games, Greek mythology continues to inspire creativity across every medium. Greek mythology and modern morality. But why do these myths endure? One reason is their exploration of morality. Unlike some religious stories, Greek myths are not about perfect beings. The gods are flawed, jealous, prideful, loving, vengeful. Heroes succeed not because they are perfect, but because they struggle, suffer, and persist. This makes them deeply human. When modern audiences watch a film about Achilles or read a novel about Persephone, they are not worshiping gods. They are seeing themselves, their own doubts, passions, and fears reflected in mythic form. In America's culture of individualism, where personal struggle and triumph are celebrated, these myths resonate profoundly. They remind us that greatness does not mean perfection, but perseverance. The myths in education. For centuries, Greek mythology has been a cornerstone of education. In American schools, students still learn about Zeus, Athena, and the Trojan War. These stories teach vocabulary, inspire imagination, and connect young people to the roots of Western civilization. Beyond the classroom, Greek mythology has shaped how Americans view storytelling itself. The concept of the hero's journey, popularized by Joseph Campbell, draws heavily from Greek tales. From Luke Skywalker to Harry Potter, modern heroes follow paths first carved by Perseus and Odysseus. In this way, every student who studies myth is not just learning history. They are stepping into a tradition of storytelling that spans thousands of years. Greek mythology and feminism. Another dimension of modern legacy lies in feminism. Myths of goddesses like Athena, Artemis, and Aphrodite have inspired new interpretations of women's power, independence, and identity. The Amazons, once portrayed as exotic warriors, have been reimagined as symbols of strength and equality, influencing everything from comic books to social movements. Feminist scholars revisit these myths to uncover hidden meanings. Was Medusa truly a monster or a victim of injustice? Was Pandora a symbol of human weakness or a misunderstood bringer of knowledge? By re-examining these tales, modern culture gives voice to perspectives long ignored. Greek mythology, therefore, is not static. It evolves, reflecting the values and struggles of each generation, including the ongoing quest for gender equality. The eternal appeal. What explains the eternal appeal of these myths? Perhaps it is because they balance the divine with the human. The gods represent forces greater than ourselves, but the heroes remind us that courage can stand against fate. The myths do not offer easy answers. Instead, they pose questions. What is justice? What is love? What is destiny? In every era, from ancient Athens to modern America, these questions remain. The myths endure because they help us wrestle with the mysteries of existence, generation after generation. Even now, as you listen, you are part of this unbroken chain of storytelling. The same stories told under starlit skies thousands of years ago are alive in your world today. Part 3. Greek Mythology and Modern Philosophy. Philosophers have long turned to Greek mythology to ask life's greatest questions. Thinkers of the Enlightenment compared the myths to allegories of reason triumphing over superstition. In the 20th century, existentialists revisited myths like that of Sisyphus, doomed to roll a boulder uphill forever, to explore the meaning of life and the absurdity of existence. Albert Camus's famous essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, argued that even in futility, humans can find freedom and dignity. The myth, once a story of punishment by the gods, became a metaphor for modern life struggles and resilience. In America, these ideas resonated strongly during the Great Depression, World War II, and the Civil Rights era, when the nation grappled with suffering, sacrifice, and the pursuit of justice. The myths were told in new forms, offered strength to endure hardship and wisdom to question authority. Tourism and the living ruins. For millions around the world, including countless Americans, traveling to Greece is not only a vacation, but a pilgrimage into the land of myth. Standing before the Parthenon in Athens, or walking the ruins of Delphi where the oracle once spoke, is like stepping into another world. Tourism keeps these myths alive, not only in Greece, but globally. Museums in New York, Chicago, London, and Paris display statues of gods and heroes, bringing mythology into the daily lives of those far from the Aegean. The myths live not just in memory, but in stone, marble, and the earth itself. Every ruin whispers the names of gods, inviting travelers to imagine the stories once told beneath those same skies. Greek mythology in advertising and media. Everywhere you look in the modern marketplace, mythology has a presence. Nike's swoosh is not just a logo. It is the wing of the goddess of victory. The luxury car brand Apollo evokes power and speed. Even local businesses across America name themselves after gods and heroes, suggesting strength, wisdom, or beauty. Television and streaming platforms bring mythology to new generations. Series like Xena, Warrior Princess, Troy, Fall of a City, and Blood of Zeus reimagine the tales for audiences who binge-watch rather than sit around fires. Through screens, the myths continue their journey into the hearts of millions. The digital age of myth. Today, in the digital age, mythology is being reborn again. Online communities debate the meaning of myths. TikTok and YouTube creators retell Greek stories with humor, animation, and drama. Memes compare Zeus's escapades to modern celebrity scandals, while fanfiction reshapes the myths into entirely new worlds. Far from fading, mythology thrives on the internet. In fact, it may be more alive now than ever, accessible at the click of a button, reshaped endlessly by every storyteller with a smartphone. The oral tradition that once carried myths across villages has found its modern echo in the digital web, connecting billions of people. The gods of Olympus may no longer sit upon their thrones, but in cyberspace, their power is undeniable. The American dream and the Greek hero. At its core, Greek mythology resonates so strongly with Americans because it mirrors the American dream. The hero begins in humble origins, faces impossible trials, suffers setbacks, and yet presses forward toward glory. Hercules' labors, Perseus' courage, Odysseus' endurance. These mirror the stories of immigrants, pioneers, and dreamers who built new lives in America. To chase greatness despite adversity is as Greek as it is American. In this way, Greek mythology is not just a relic of the past. It is woven into the very identity of modern culture, shaping the values of courage, ambition, and resilience. The legacy lives on. And so, what is the legacy of Greek mythology? It is more than marble ruins, more than ancient poetry, more than faded temples. It is a living force. It has traveled through centuries, shaping art, politics, literature, science, and imagination. It has guided philosophers, inspired revolutionaries, entertained children, and comforted the brokenhearted. It is a reminder that stories are immortal. Empires fall, monuments crumble, but myths endure. They are reborn in every retelling, every adaptation, every whispered echo of Zeus's thunder or Aphrodite's smile. Even now, as you listen to this, you are part of the myth's legacy. By remembering it, by sharing it, you carry the flame of Olympus into tomorrow. And so, our journey through the legacy of Greek mythology comes to a close. But just like the myths themselves, the story never really ends. It continues with you, in your thoughts, in your imagination, and the stories you will pass on. If you've enjoyed traveling through time with us, join the community of seekers and storytellers. Leave a comment below. Tell us where you re-watching from and which myth speaks to you most. If you felt the power of Olympus today, give this video a like so the gods of the algorithm may share it with others. And if you wish to return for more journeys into history, subscribe and ring the bell, because in this temple of stories, there is always another myth waiting. Until next time, may wisdom guide you like Athena, may courage strengthen you like Hercules, and may hope shine upon your path like Apollo's light. This is the legacy of Greek mythology, alive, eternal, and forever yours.